According to sources on the numbers, the government is confident of securing support from 32 DMK MPs, 8 MPs from NCP Sharad Pawar faction, 4 YSRCP MPs, 20 rebel Trinamool Congress MPs and 6 MPs from the Shiv Sena's Uddhav Thackeray faction. The NDA already holds a tally of 294. With the addition of these groups, the government's total reaches 364. The government also claims the support of 6 independent MPs. Now the government's total strength is shaping up to be over 370. Out of the 543 seats in the Lok Sabha, there are currently 540 sitting MPs. To pass the delimitation bill and the women's reservation bill, the government would require a 2/3 majority. That is a total of 360. The government claims its total strength exceeds 370. So that is what we have picked up. How do you see this, ma'am? Like you're saying, Amit Shah is the Chanakya of Rajniti, the Indian politics. He couldn't have called for this session without having done his maths. What do you see forward?
Exactly, I'm perplexed as to how he's done the maths, because the mood on the ground, early on, before the session began, it was, the government has all the cards and the opposition is on a back foot. But since then, a lot has happened. The youth protests where the government has to saw the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. We also saw the recent by-polls where the government, the BJP lost 2 out of the 3 seats. And the Bankipur by-poll was a very, pretty telling loss in that sense. So after that, to suddenly come up with this, to totally change the narrative, to call in for a special session after saying we'll go in for a break after the 12th of August, it means kuch na kuch to hai. And Amit Shah, our reporters on the ground, parliament, people who cover the home ministry, had been telling us, in fact, in that sense, I must give them total credit for that.
Yes, so let's in fact go across to them. Manohar Kesri is joining us. Manohar, क्या कुछ पता चल पाया है ग्राउंड से? पार्लियामेंट से आप लगातार रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हैं, इस बारे में क्या पता चल पाया?
देखिए, बिल्कुल सरकार के सोर्सेज के हवाले से खबर है कि 15 अगस्त के बाद जिस तरह से बजट सत्र में 2 दिन एक्सटेंडेड बजट सेशन चलाया गया था महिला आरक्षण और डिलिमिटेशन को लेकर भी, इस बार भी मानसून सत्र का एक्सटेंडेड पार्ट होगा और 3 दिन का ये विशेष सत्र होगा। बजट का एक्सटेंडेड सेशन हो सकता है जिसमें 17, 18 और 19 अगस्त को ये हो सकता है। सरकार और प्रियंका गांधी, राहुल गांधी के साथ आज मुलाकात हुई है, के साथ मुलाकात हुई है और एक गतिरोध तोड़ते हुए सदन को चलाने के साथ साथ डिलिमिटेशन और महिला आरक्षण को लेकर के चर्चा हुई है। और सरकार पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त है कि आने वाले समय में जब मानसून सत्र का सिग्नल पार्ट का भी शुरू होगा तो सरकार इस बार पास करा लेगी, क्योंकि जो 2/3 मेजोरिटी की जरूरत है डीएमके के एमपी के साथ जो है सपोर्ट करने के बाद सरकार के पास पर्याप्त आंकड़े हैं और सरकार पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त है कि ये 370 तक पहुंच सकता है। जी।
All right, so that's what we do know of. It is being speculated right now that the government, which needs a 2/3 majority to pass the bill, needs the support of 360 MPs, and it has the number of 370. And the expected support is coming from DMK, NCP Sharad Pawar faction, YSRCP, TMC rebels who are with the NCPA now, Shiv Sena Uddhav faction, and 6 are independents. That's what we are looking at, and this session is expected to be held from 16th of August. A 3-day session will be called to that effect. We are also going to play out some more reactions that we have on the She Shakti bill. But let's go back to our editorial director, Ms. Priya Sehgal continues to be with us. Ma'am, you were talking about how you are not sure how these numbers have, been pulled together. What are the apprehensions that you are seeing?
Well, I was also just checking. The government has proposed, and I think that's what Manohar was also telling you, that the proposal has come. The opposition is yet to respond.
Right.
So, they are definitely going to say no unless they feel the majority in the, they're going to be responding as a India bloc and not really as the Congress or the DMK or whatever. So, now is the time the opposition will be doing the same kind of match that you and I are talking about, reaching out to the DMK and Supriya Sule to figure out where they stand. I am again, yes, in terms of numbers, if they get the DMK and Supriya Sule and the Uddhav Thackeray faction is already broken, so that's not a problem. But Supriya Sule's party, NCP and DMK are the big ticket breakaways. Is the government so confident? What has changed? Because we've been hearing, watching the parliament, you and I, especially the debate on the youth protest. Supriya was very, very firm, taking on the government. There is a feeling, even off record, when we were talking to the MPs from the DMK, also there's a feeling that the government is actually losing out on the youth protests. They were also talking that the Congress will have no choice but to come back to us. But this arrest of Udayanidhi Stalin, that could have also backfired and made the DMK go with the BJP, because that move, coming from the TVK, whom the Congress supports, so in a way Congress is part of that move, has not gone down well with the DMK at all. That could have been the last straw. Is the Congress getting too arrogant and overestimating itself and the opposition? It should actually, now's the time for it to take the anti-BJP parties together instead of making one fight against the other. So has there been a slight miscalculation on support of the Congress, that Amit Shah has seen his chance and moved in? Because right now the relations between the DMK and Vijay are really at an all-time low. There was some mending with the Congress over the youth protests, but this probably could have sent it. That's the only reason I can think of. I'm thinking aloud while talking to you, but honestly, that's the one reason I can think that could make the DMK go and vote. Because Udayanidhi Stalin, apart from being a DMK MP, is also the son of the chief minister and MLA, not an MP, but he is Stalin's son. So I think attacking him was attacking really the symbol of the party. So that's the only thing I can think of, honestly. I'm also racking my brains as to where this confidence is coming from the government side.
Right. Talking about the India bloc, like you are saying, it will be presented as one. How put together is this bloc right now to oppose the government?
Good question. It's very put together. In fact, you saw the dharna outside the PM's house on the youth protest. There's a feeling that, the Congress leaders are saying the tide is turning against the BJP. So this is the time that we should all unite and not, be taken by lures of the BJP. They seem pretty confident. And you saw them just yesterday at Vaiko's book release. On stage was, I think, Farooq Abdullah, so perhaps Sharad Pawar, there, of course, Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi and Vaiko, all of them on the stage there together, presenting a very strong, unified picture during the protest. While Rahul Gandhi led the protest outside Jantar Mantar, outside the PM's house, Akhilesh was there, Supriya Sule was there. So in that sense, Aam Aadmi Party is also going to be voting with the India bloc, though it's still not part of it, but they are not going to be supporting the delimitation also, and that number is already taken into account in your calculations.
Where Mamta's MP is standing on this?
Mamta's MPs have broken, unfortunately. So the breakaway faction of the TMC will vote with the government, and the other faction will vote with the opposition. Mahua Moitra and Kalyan Banerjee, etc., Derek O'Brien, they are going to be voting with the opposition. But the people who've broken from the Mamta are, of course, with the government. So that faction has already gone in the maths. The maths still doesn't work unless DMK comes. DMK is the big chunk. So has DMK agreed? Did the Congress err in letting this whole arrest of Udayanidhi Stalin happen? What went wrong in just 12 hours? Literally it's 12 hours.
Yeah.
So we know Amit Shah has been sitting and doing the maths. Throughout all this, also don't forget, the whole narrative in this whole thing. If you notice, after the Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, the opposition started saying Amit Shah should resign. He became the face of the protest.
Yeah.
And we were asking Gaurav Goi, in fact, I did an interview on NewsX and said, why him and not? He said, because everybody thought the government was very happy if we would raise the issue of ethanol, and, they will very happily sacrifice Gadkari. But we went for the jugular and we went in for Amit Shah. That they didn't like at all. And you remember that dharna, where is the Home Minister, where is Amit Shah? They made it all about Amit Shah. So obviously he's got provoked. So now let's see what he's done.
Yeah, and talking about the protest, are we giving less credit to the CJP? Because I think that student-led protest has also played its part in bringing the opposition together. Rahul Gandhi and different leaders of the opposition party were, pushing the students in their demands and effectively also going against the government and coming together within the India bloc.
No, no, absolutely. In terms of the youth protest, as we discussed earlier, that really put the government on the back foot, and the opposition stands a chance because at the beginning of the session, the talk was, okay, this delimitation bill will come in and the opposition will break, and they're on a back foot. That is how we went in for the monsoon session. Suddenly, tide turned when the youth protest took their own steam, and they actually got the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. But this government, they won't go into. 15th August is coming, and that's when the PM makes his historic speech from Red Fort. So they obviously want some big ticket announcement to be made, and nothing more big ticket than this. And we've already discussed the significance of 5th August. That's all leading up because this government holds the Modi government holds events and a lot of big this thing. They really do a lot of event management, narrative management, big ticket grandstanding. So Red Fort speech becomes a very important part of the whole narrative building. They didn't want to go into 15th August with the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan being the last word on
Yes.
governance. They
Yes.
wanted to change the narrative, and what a way.
Right, absolutely. And the Prime Minister's address from the ramparts of the Red Fort, of course, will be very important then because it's going to set the precedence for what we can expect in this special session. Requested to stay on with us, ma'am. Let's take some breaking updates coming in.